Great way to say it. And that's why like our theme is like know the narrative, right? There's positive narratives, there's neutral narratives, and then there's negative narratives, and then there's really harmful ones, right? As long as you know the whole scale of that, then you're going to be in a position to either reduce risk or, increase opportunity.
Welcome to Future Fuzz, the digital marketing podcast.
Welcome in. I am Vince Quinn, and today we're talking about protecting your company's reputation. And joining us for this conversation is Dan Lowden. He is the Chief Marketing Officer at Blackbird.ai. Dan, welcome to Future Fuzz.
Vince, thanks for having me. Really appreciate it. Kicking off 2026 and looking forward to a great year.
So a lot of great things to look forward to this year. But first, before we dive into the good, the bad, the everything, because you see a lot in your position, just give us some background on what Blackbird.ai is.
You bet. So excited. Coming up 2.5 years at Blackbird and all the things that we've accomplished in that period of time. It's an important topic to discuss in the world today. We call this narrative attacks created by disinformation, misinformation, deepfakes that target executives, corporations, global national security organizations, you name it. And it's a hot and important topic because it's impacting everybody today. Could cause financial, reputational, operational, even physical harm, and that's what Blackbird.ai protects against. We have what we call a narrative intelligence platform where we can give advance notice of things bubbling up across the internet, across social media, across the news, across the dark web, and say, hey, this is something that's coming your way. You need to be aware of it. You may want to have some type of public statement against it or take further precautions, but we're helping protecting these organizations and executives from these type of attacks. It's a new threat vector that they don't have visibility into, and that's why our service and what we do has become really, really important, especially over the past 2 years.
It's such a fascinating thing because it is really, I hate to say blowing up for something like this, but like it's blowing up. And for me, like I'm such a naturally positive and supportive kind of person that to think about like the mentality of what goes into this. I mean, basically, Dan, why? Like, why do people in their right mind, or maybe right mind is debatable, but why do people do this? Why is this happening?
Again, with AI happening, it's become easier and easier to kind of create a single post that could be completely incorrect or could be 100% correct or manipulated anywhere in between those two opposites that could blow up very quickly and target an executive or cancel a brand or target a nation, right? And there are threat actors that do this. There are harmful influencers that do this. There are nation states like Russia, like China, like North Korea, and other enemies of the free world, I guess I would say, that do this to create and manipulate and break trust in institutions, in governments, in corporations and brands. And they do this for financial gain, or they do it to just disrupt the good things that we have put in place that are trying to serve customers well. And they do this for financial gain, like they may try to manipulate stock, or they may try to put out a deepfake video that looks like it's a CEO of a company saying they missed earnings this quarter when it's completely fake, right? So there's a lot of different reasons why to do it. And with AI enabling a lot of these things, the barriers to entry to do them has gotten so small, and how real they look has just gotten so authentic. It's just hard to tell what's real and what's not.
It's genuinely like impossible these days. I mean, when all these pictures first came out, and even when the quality of image generation was getting good, where you could look at it and be like, wow, that looks like a real person, and they actually have 5 fingers on their hand instead of like 7. There was like almost a shininess to everything, and you could just tell. Like it was like, I'm not an expert on this, but I'm just looking at it and I know it's fake. And you can't do that anymore. Like the quality is just it's insane.
Yeah, and it's only going to get better, and it's only going to get easier to do. And that's why this is a big challenge, right? There's social listening tools out there that would look at, individual posts or sentiment, which is important to do, but it's not narratives. Narrative is something that can start with a single post and all of a sudden 1 million people are talking about it, and it's around one specific topic across multiple networks, and it's targeting your company or your competitors or your industry or your executives, and you could be completely blindsided by it, right? And that's why this is a new category. Gartner just came out with a report saying this is disinformation narrative intelligence. It's a new category that we are leading in. They just put out a report that says we're the company to beat, which we're pretty excited about. But it's a massive problem. The World Economic Forum for the past 2 years in a row says it's the #1 global threat to the world. And, that's why people are taking notice. Companies are realizing, hey, we have to protect against it, and we have to take action.
I mean, these things can go incredibly quickly, and it is amazing how, people can get tricked. And it's inconsequential at times. Like here's an example that I've seen just in my day-to-day is, so I'm in Philly. I used to be in sports radio. I'm a sports nut. There's been some coverage recently about fake Facebook accounts that have been popping up, and they're all based on Philly sports. So they're dedicated to the Phillies, the Flyers, the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, at least last year. We'll see for this one. But anyway, the whole idea being that they're attributing fake quotes to these different players and engagement farming, and the kinds of things that these accounts are saying are like really ugly, and for people to buy that stuff is true. It's in the grand scheme, like you think about, obviously when you're getting to the scale of nation states and politics and all the things beyond that, like it can be incredibly high stakes, but these are the small things that people are putting the time and energy into doing that. You know what I mean? So like when you talk about the ease of doing it, it's really incredible that something so insignificant is getting active fake AI generated content and quotes to cause whatever kind of havoc and I guess just make money on views is
on eyeballs. Exactly right. And you and I talked about this. I'm born in Philadelphia, so that's near and dear to my heart, the Eagles and the Phillies and the like. It's impacting every organization, whether it's sports, whether it's big consumer brands, tech brands, national security organizations, ministries of defense, countries, right? So with all this going on in the world today. So wherever people can feel like they can make money or create influence or disrupt people and, cause people to take sides, that's what's happening out there, and that's the mission of Blackbird, is to help protect against that.
And with that, so okay, let's say a negative narrative gets identified, it's getting a lot of traction, it's somebody that you're working with, you need to go and counter this thing. I know you mentioned, for example, releasing a statement. Like, what are some of the things that people should be considering when there is this kind of negative narrative that's going out there? There is a falsehood that's getting attention, and they need to, fight it.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing. You can't ask any of these networks to take a narrative down. It's gotten too big. It spans too quickly, right? So a lot of the people we work with, a lot of the companies, a lot of the executive teams we work with will make a public statement and say, this is what is truly happening. This is our view of things, or this is not a video of our CEO. This is a deep fake, right? And we give them visibility into this as a narrative starts to spread, so that way they can act quicker and help reduce that risk or cut that risk off, where people go, oh, this is fake, I'm going to ignore it. And if they didn't make it a statement, there's risk that more and more people would believe it. And that could, we've seen billions and billions of dollars of impact to financial statements of companies where this has either been ignored or they don't know the details behind it and they say the wrong thing. So with narrative intelligence, they know what's being said, what are the most harmful ones in a prioritized way, who's saying it, what networks is it spreading across, is it bot influenced, and are there threat actors and nation states dogpiling on to make it significantly worse. And if they have that information, they can make a statement that can significantly reduce the risk. Or they may decide not to, but they change their security protocols, or they may change the physical location of their executives because there's a threat. So there are sometimes a company or a brand or executive team wants to be public and make a statement. There are other times where they won't, but they will change internal processes to reduce that risk. And it all depends on what that narrative is. And having the real data is what's critical. And that's, again, what Blackbird.ai
Yeah,
provides.
which is a fascinating thing because obviously there hasn't been a lot of information, attention, discussion, and data about it. And I think that's been a sort of universal historic issue of, do we comment on this thing or not? Like, are we going to give it more attention? Should we have done that? The mistake of it, and it drives people crazy.
It does, and it's, if you have real data, you can make much better strategic decisions. If you're guessing or you're looking at individual posts or trying to do this manually, you're going to make mistakes and you can make it worse, right? So if you have the real data through narrative intelligence, you're able to make much better decisions faster that can significantly reduce that risk to the organization.
Future Fuzz is sponsored by SalesSource, B2B pipeline management and sales growth for your business.
Yeah, so we've covered a lot of ground then talking about the negative side of it. Let's talk positive narratives, Dan. So, I mean, as you've defined it, because obviously you broke down a lot of just what a negative narrative is. I mean, generally, what would you define a positive narrative when these things are coming out?
Yeah. And like you, I'm much more of a positive person and, optimist and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of positive narratives out there as well. And whether you're a company or your executive team or whatever organization you're part of, if you have visibility into those positive narratives, that's a wonderful thing, because then you can recognize, hey, somebody's saying great things about us and a lot of people are talking about us, and maybe this is something we should lean into and support. And maybe there are positive influencers out there or super fans in the case of the Philadelphia Eagles or the Phillies or whoever that we may want to celebrate, right, and make part of the story. So there are a lot of positive narratives out there, and there's CMOs and communications people that want to have visibility into the positive narratives as well, because they feel that way they can be much more in touch with what consumers are saying. And if they're saying good things about a brand because something happened, or the product release was fantastic, or a new initiative by the company was well accepted, that's something the company should celebrate, and they could celebrate that publicly.
Yeah, so you're actively looking for those things then. Like for people with Blackbird AI, you can go and say, okay, well, here's these people in all of these different places that are saying things about you. These are good things. Now, let's go build a relationship with them. Let's go repost this thing. Let's grab this quote, all that kind of stuff, and actually capitalize that. Is that a pretty good summary there?
Great way to say it. And that's why our theme is know the narrative, right? There's positive narratives, there's neutral narratives, and then there's negative narratives, and then there's really harmful ones, right? As long as you know the whole scale of that, then you're going to be in a position to either reduce risk or increase opportunity for the company.
I mean, the positive side of it is so helpful, and it's one of those things that can get taken for granted. I mean, I've really been on a tear recently for me with my business of just feedback loops of praise, if you will, testimonials from people, scheduling these sessions out, making it a regimented part of our system now. So, hey, somebody's onboarded within the first, 90 days, we want to get a testimonial. We're going to check again at 6 months and a year. And, finding those things, making sure it's a part of everything that we're doing now. You want to see them on the homepage. We want to put them in newsletters. We want to put them as posts, like just really flooding the zone. People want to see other people saying good things about you, right? Like, I think it's really that simple, whether it's a major product that you want to buy or it's like a Christmas gift that you're going to get on Amazon for $12 to fill a stocking, right? Like those reviews just mean everything. And sometimes people don't take enough attention, even though people do genuinely love what they're making or the kind of work that they do.
Yeah. And the ones that are legit, that do good things, that provide high value and creativity and, just something that is positive in the world, if that could be promoted more, wonderful. But then there's also the opposite of that, where, there's things that are promoted that, are just not by a person you should trust, or this product is not as quality as people say it is, or hey, does this person really have the experience or the background that I should listen to and trust, right? So that's why in the world today, to understand who to trust and what's real, excuse me, what's been manipulated and what could become harmful is really, really important, no matter what world you're in, whether it's banking or whether it's healthcare or whether it is, your favorite brands or your local town or community, understanding what's real, what's true or not, is really, really important.
Now, Dan, just out of curiosity, like you've worked with all these different companies then that have had the ability to generate good quality reviews and praise and get that online and do that organically, right? So from that standpoint, is there anything that you've noticed that's like a commonality between those people to generate that? Because you have to earn it, right? Like what do people do that you see that tends to earn legitimate praise?
Yeah, and earn it is the right way to say it. And it's really hard to earn it, but it's really easy for one person to come by and just crush it, right? Like one bad review being said about something that could crush a great brand reputation. But I think that's where brands have to be, careful. They have to come across as genuine, authentic, have to, like a lot of the brands we work with have influencers that they pay because they believe in the product. And you have to make sure those influencers, are staying on brand and saying, the right things that they believe in that remain in sync with your own brand reputation, right? And that's where just making sure you stay diligent with that is critically important. Right. If you come across as inauthentic, or if you come across as, in a way that doesn't cause trust, then all the brand reputation you've created over the past years could be destroyed very, very quickly or canceled very, very quickly. And that's what a lot of marketers and CMOs are worried about, is their brand being targeted and canceled. And if that happens, maybe it's because of a cyber breach, right? Like somebody breached the company and stole all the customer credentials. That's an impact to the brand. And do people trust you anymore? Do they believe in you? Their data has been stolen. They're very unhappy about it. So what do you do? What steps do you take to regain that trust if something bad happens?
And the fascinating thing is when something bad happens, I mean, what I would imagine it's like a war room scenario, right? Like what is the environment in a situation like that? Because these things do move so quickly. So how do you have to respond to these kinds of situations?
It's a great question. And that's where more and more of these companies are calling it a fusion center, where there are maybe a team of 10 leaders within the company that are responsible for different parts of the organization. We see chief information security officers leading that because this is now an attack on the company or the executive team. But we see the CMO in there, the crisis comms, the legal team, the risk team, could be, other members that are very important to customer care, that they meet monthly. And they're trying to get ahead of this. They're using our service to monitor for these narratives. And they're, coming up with crisis scenario issues where if something bad does happen, they can react quickly with real data. And they're talking to each other. That's new. Like before, a couple years ago, these independent groups didn't talk to each other. Now they do, because of this threat vector impacts every part of the company. And the more prepared they are to respond to that quicker, the better off they are going to be to reduce risk.
Yeah. And so, I mean, with all this, we've covered so much ground of just like good, bad, how to capitalize on it. For people who want to learn more about this, be more engaged with it, what's the best way to stay in touch with Blackbird and everything you guys are doing there?
Yeah, so I mean, we publish a ton of content on this because it's new, right? It's a new category. People are trying to understand, hey, I didn't realize there was something I could do about this, that I could get more proactive. So at Blackbird.ai, we publish a ton of content. In our blog post is where most of it is. We have a lot of research reports. We're pointing to Gartner reports and Forrester reports, as well as Tag Cyber reports, where they've published a lot about this new category. And that way people can learn about it and their circumstances. What are they worried about? What are the top cases they're worried about? What industry are they in? We have all kinds of resources around that to help educate them. And then we're happy to help work with them and protect them, right? And that's what we do. We typically do some type of proof of value over a 30-day period where they get to use the tool and understand the value of the tool. And then we're signing up a lot of customers because they're worried about this and they want to get ahead of it.
Yeah, well, it's such a crazy evolving thing, and you got to do whatever you can. So fascinating stuff. Thank you for spending the time with us, Dan, and educating us on it, because I got to tell you, it's a crazy thing, and I learned a lot.
Yeah, Vince, appreciate it. Glad we're both Philadelphia fans, and a great conversation here today. It's important for people to understand that this is happening in all facets of our life, and just to be more aware of it and say, hey, is that really true? Or question some things is important, because we want to make sure things are authentic and that there's trust, and that, if that engagement happens, that's a good thing. Right. And that's what we want to make sure
that's
happens.
what it's all about. So, Dan, thank you so much for the time. Appreciate you again. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, Vince.
Thanks for tuning in and making the choice to listen to this podcast. If you liked what you've heard today, please don't forget to subscribe.